At a conference last week, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Vegas for a conference and then Denver for fun this weekend. So, a little show at Red Rocks, a little baseball game at Coors Stadium, and
Oh,
or a
nice.
field, whatever they call it there. And yeah, it was really nice.
Nice.
Weather was great.
Were you there with your girlfriend, or were you there with friends, or?
Yeah, she was. Her and her girlfriend went and invited me along, and they had a blast. I had a good time as well. What I learned is that if they plan a girls' trip ish and invite me along, just politely decline. And
You
I don't
did.
mean that. I don't mean that in any bad way whatsoever. And this
Sure.
isn't anything I haven't said to her. But yeah, hey, next time, this is just y'all. Y'all do your thing. Like one of her
Right.
childhood best friends lives in Denver. They had a blast. I was, the only guy at most of the time, and sometimes the only sober one. And that just needed to be a girls' trip. So
Yeah. I mean,
did
those kind of
Did
things
you
happen.
know that there is? You've heard of like Comic Con,
Yep.
right?
Yep. For sure. Yep. Yep.
Crime Con for the true crime stuff.
No, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because of how popular that whole genre has become.
Their national thing was in Denver this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't surprise me because I don't know about your girlfriend, but my wife goes to bed every night with some sort of, I call them her murder shows.
Yeah.
She's watching some sort of show every night, which I'm convinced is just the way that she's plotting my demise, right?
Well, she's your beneficiary. She's the beneficiary on your life insurance, so of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think she's just learning all of the multiple ways that I could disappear, and she not get caught. That's what I think.
Well, so the correct response to me bringing this up is, how do you know that, Luke?
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay. Let me try that again.
Yeah.
Let me try that again.
Hey,
So
you know? Did you know, like Comic Con, there's a crime con, and it was in Denver this weekend.
I had no idea. How'd you know this, Luke?
Because I ended up going to where it was with my girlfriend and her friend. While they spent hours in that thing, I found a sports bar
Okay.
and watched Sunday football, NFL
Oh.
football.
Well, that
and
doesn't
did,
sound
and
terrible.
did work. Yeah, it was all right.
Sure.
But yeah. Are you sure you don't want to go, Luke? Oh, I'm positive. I'm as positive as can be. So anyway,
Did you happen to catch the Bills game, by the way?
no, I was in the air.
Uh,
Hell of
Yeah.
a game, though. Saw the
I
highlights.
mean, yeah.
Holy shit.
right.
Wow.
What I really thought was poignant, but because this happened to me on Saturday. So my wife and I also enjoy football season, and we go to our local college football. We have a Division I program here in town. Not a huge Division I program, but they're Division I.
Sure.
And we played a really good game against Kansas last week and lost, and so we were looking forward to this game. We were playing Portland, and they came in and they won the toss. We marched down the field, scored, kicked off the ball to them, fumble recovery, scored, 2-point conversion, scored. Literally 5 point, like 6
15
minutes
points?
into the game, we were ahead and never. I mean, by the end of the first quarter, we were ahead by 30 points. The game was over. Right?
Wow.
By fourth quarter, everybody's leaving the stadium because
Sure.
we ended up winning like 41-6. Right? I mean, it was an absolute blowout. But it was
Yeah.
the first game of the season. We stayed till there was about 6 minutes left in the game.
Good for you guys. That's awesome.
Funny thing, they showed video of the Bills of the Bills Ravens game, and you saw all of these people leaving the Bills stadium, right? Because
I didn't see that part.
yeah,
Oh.
so Buffalo's like a huge blue collar city. In case you haven't,
Right.
I hadn't
Yeah,
been
yeah.
there. I hadn't been there until just recently, just a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. I went out to Buffalo. We have an account out there, and so I was like, oh, this is really cool. I went up to Niagara. I checked out the city, ate at the local places, had a slice and some wings. I mean, you could tell it's just a place that loves their football team. So, but they're also this blue collar community. So when they get to the middle of the fourth quarter and they're down by 15 points,
Yeah, they're down 16, I guess. At
yeah,
one
yeah,
point.
they're their crowd's out. They're like, hey, we got to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We're going to hit the road. and literally half the stadium emptied when they go on to win. You know, their quarterback scores like 16 points straight or 17 unanswered points or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, they ended up winning 41-40. So, I mean, you know, how often does that happen to you, though, where
Yeah. It's happened
you
to me.
bounce out?
I wasn't at the game. I was watching Tennessee at LSU. So it was 04-05, whatever Katrina hit. So that game got pushed to Monday or Tuesday night.
Sure.
Instead of Saturday. We were down 20 at half. I was like, good night. I'm out. Wake up. Tennessee came back and won.
Yeah.
Son of a. Yep.
Right. It's like that Super Bowl that the Patriots won that one time, right?
Oh,
Everybody bounced.
against Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. That one where Mark Wahlberg bounced.
Yeah.
And then they
28-3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
I gotta love that. Hey, before we get started officially,
Yeah.
I'd like to take a moment to thank our buddy Chris here in St. Louis that we've talked about before, City Morgue Cycles, and Jerry, Mr. Jerry, both of just our newest Patreon members. Want to just thank them for their support. Mean that a lot. Both came in today, showed up, and so thank you all for showing us some love. We appreciate that, and just in time, because, you know, end of the month, we'll be drawing for some free Moto State podcast merch.
Yeah.
So,
and I saw you posted some winter gear on there, right? So
yeah.
what's our new gear for winter?
Well, I've always had the hoodies on there.
Yep.
So those are there, and I can tell you they're nice.
Yep.
I have not ordered one, but I ordered one for my daughter. She loves it. I checked it out.
Yep.
Solid. I don't know what y'all call it in the Midwest, beanies or whatever. I grew up calling it a toboggan.
We call it a beanie. Yep.
Beanie, whatever you want. Where the hell? And so it's the one that folds back up, the extra long one. Like, you know, if you want to pull it down over the back of your neck, I like to do that with mine. So just added those in multiple colors. I added pink in there in case, you know.
Ooh, okay.
Christmas present, your sorry present.
Mm-hmm.
I just ordered a bunch of stuff for myself. Here's a pink toboggan, my lady. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, those are out there as of yesterday, and of course the hoodies. We're getting into hoodie season, so those are out there. Feel free to jump on that in our merch store, which can conveniently be located at motostatepodcast.com.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
I really do have a face for radio. Look at that. It's amazing.
So the other thing I think we should, before we get too deep into it, before we do it, and it will be a good segue, mind you. So what shirt are you wearing today?
Man, I got the old boys at 2 Lane Life. They run it's a podcast, but on YouTube, and their videography is just on point. Really great stuff. Josh over there, who runs their runs the cameras and the editing, man, he's one of the best in the business and has great taste in music, by the way. But met these guys at Homecoming a couple of years ago, started following them a little over 3 years ago. They put down some miles and are good guys, and so supporting them today. How about you? What you got going on over there?
When you start, hold on a second though. When you started following them 3 years ago, they were kicking off. They've blown up. They are legit. Their stuff is. They have a very big following, and have had some bangers of interviews on there. Some really, really big name people in the industry, and some celebrities that
I think they've got like
to the industry,
half of the Mayans crew's been on there. Robert, Robert Patrick obviously on there too, but some big names, and they're just good dudes, man. Yep. And I'm jealous of Lance's beard. I think
so.
Awesome.
I'm sporting the Wild Ass T-shirt. Which is in case any of you do or don't know, I routinely run a Wild Ass seat on my bike, and I shouldn't say seat. I guess it's a seat pad that I use on my bike, which I think I have 40,000 miles on mine. I've actually replaced my cover once even on it because I wore my last cover out, and when we were at an event last year, Craig was there and replaced the cover for me. But Yeah.
40,000 seat. And I'm going to say this. Let me start with, we're not sponsored by them, just simply, testimonial from Ryan, but 40,000 on a seat pad. That's solid.
Yeah. Welcome to Moto State Podcast, where we talk about motorcycles, life, and everything in between. And it's this, and I have the same internal part of the seat pad. And what's really crazy is that he's partnered with a riding group that does crazy miles called the Mile Monsters, and they do a lot of work for charity. And he's got some people that have 100,000, 200,000 miles on their seat pads, right? So I say 40,000 sounds like a lot. It's nothing compared to what some of these other guys are putting on their bikes. So in fact, I just saw a guy. Oh, never mind. He's not related to it, but yeah, these guys are.
Well, you got Hops, Chris Hopson, is that right? I think it's last name.
Chris Hopper.
I'm sorry, Hopper.
Yep.
And
yep.
Iceman. Man, those guys throw down some miles.
Yeah, some really, really, really legit miles. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, Chris Hopper had a whole bunch of records, and they've been broken a couple times since he made his record. So
just last week, right?
Yeah, there's some people out there putting some serious miles on bikes right now. So
what did the guy just do? 125,000 miles in 125 days?
Yeah, on an Indian.
On an Indian.
And if you saw the bike, it
looks like a spaceship.
It does.
Shit,
it does. He's got external gas tanks. He's got external drinking tanks. I mean, that bike is absolutely insane. But the segue is this. The wild ass seat that I have on my bike leads us into what we're going to be talking about today, which is what?
We're talking about asses? Oh, no, we're talking about, what's your go-to stuff, what's your go-to equipment, accessories, brands, whatever, on your motorcycle? Like, what's your go-to stuff?
So, like parts, like what parts I put on my bike? Is that kind of what we're at?
Parts, accessories.
Okay.
I mean, could it be a seat cover?
Okay.
Could it be hand guards or those grips? Could it be lights? Could it be anything? What works for you best on your motorcycle? And I'll say that we're not saying one's better than the other. We're just talking personally about what works best for us on our setups on our bikes.
Sure. So I've said for a long time that I try to go with form and function. So and what I mean by that is that there are things that I put on my bike maybe that don't look the best, right? Or might not appeal to other people, like a seat pad, right? Some people would just frown on that completely, or a backrest. And then there are other things that I have on my bike that are completely for looks, right? So, but really, like, I have a vision in my head of how I want my bike to look, and I want my bike to function with the way that I ride that follows kind of that aesthetic. So
sure,
that's kind of how I think about it when I was building out my bike, or as I was building out my bike. What does that mean to me? And it's gone through a couple of different phases up until where I'm at now, which I think is kind of what I had been working towards, but is about as finished as I think my bike could be.
Finished for now.
Yeah, I mean finished for now, or finished. I mean it's pretty well built out. I mean, unless I want to do like a top end or some serious motor work, I have done just about everything I think I can do. So
yeah. I think I definitely take the same approach, form and function. I think, maybe the road sofa seat is maybe not the sexiest thing in the world at times on the Street Glide, but man, it's comfortable. It treats me well. I once said that I would never have a tour pack, and here I am, year 2 with it. It's not on the bike all the time, but it's for form and for function. It's great. Long trips, especially if it's 2-up trip. It's fantastic. So things like that. I would really like. I've debated on on my Street Glide. I still have the factory front crash bar, but doing the straight bars like an IMZZ or whoever. But I really like my foot pegs because I like to go long distance. So putting my feet up and stretching my legs out at times is more important to me than the look at that point. Function is more important to me on something like that. I've kept the factory footboards. They're bigger, they're solid, they're comfortable. I like them. I could go with a Thrashin or a Pryor or Performance or whoever, but they're color matched, they're fancy, they work. I don't really need to change them,
Sure.
So I don't need to spend the money. So, well, Ryan, what, is there a certain brand that you lean more toward than others when you've done work to your bike, whether that's form and or function?
Well, I guess if anybody has seen my bike, they would know that pretty much the tank is the only body piece that is stock anymore on my bike. So I have replaced the front fender, the back fender, the bag lowers, the side covers, and there's a fairing on my bike, which it didn't come with. So that's all advanblack. I've really liked their stuff. Their paint match stuff has always been spot on. Since they did a full fairing for my Road King, I had to be all in on that. I ran a Memphis Shades for a very, very long time, and I actually had that paint match to my bike, which was a great aesthetic and looked great. Mm-hmm. But I always felt like for my bike, I felt like it was off-balanced because I did a lot of touring on it, and I felt like it had this small front end with a big ass, right?
Well, there's a picture of it right behind you.
There is a picture of it right behind me, but in that one I don't have a tour pack on it.
Right.
But I ended up, kind of like you, I ended up putting a tour pack on, and then I put lights on the tour pack, or a light bar. Now I put like one smoked light basically on the back, and so it's really incognito. It's not all lit up, but I'm telling you, having ridden with 4 or 5 guys for thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, it just adds to safety, right? That's the biggest thing I think from that perspective. Riding in rain, riding at night, just having yourself be a little bit more lit up just makes a difference, and having it be incognito where it doesn't. It's not like sometimes you see these bikes and they're like giant Christmas trees. There's so much lights on them.
Sure.
It's not like that. I mean, I've replaced all of my lighting, so it's all LED. But for the most part, I would say the biggest number one company that my bike would be represented by would be advanblack, because that's, like I said, the front fender, and I have the whole shot series is what I have besides the ST fairing, so which is a mini front fender, the FXR style side covers, the recessed bags with the standard size, and they're chopped in the back. The chopped rear fender that doesn't have the light bar at the bottom. The CVO light bar has been removed from it. So that's the, I guess I would say, performance aesthetic that my bike has with that on it. Okay. So that would be the number one that I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's probably hard for me to say what number one is. I haven't done a ton of body work. I do have same front fender as you. I have the whole shot advanblack front fender, and I have from Steve Chamberlain. I've got his side covers, FXR style side covers. I added both those just in the spring this year and love them. Honestly, my tour pack is just an Amazon special. Because I didn't expect to use it much, so I wasn't going to invest a ton of money, and didn't even get it painted. I just ordered a black one. I took the approach of, again, just function. It's a cheap tour pack. I'm not going to spend money painting it, and if I get rid of my Street Glide, more than likely a black tour pack will work on the next motorcycle I own. So that's kind of the approach I took with that. Probably the most, I did a custom dynamics. I added the extra brake lights, tail lights on the bags, on the back, under the lids. And then I've got Baja LP6 headlight and the S1s, I believe is the S1's just the one light square for the running and turn signal lights. So again, I haven't added a ton of lights, but man, those, especially the Bajas, are bright as shit. So people saw me coming a mile away, and did that on the FXR too. Same setup, except it's an LP4 on the front. Man, I can see everything. So I would say maybe Baja may be the biggest thing, the most common thing you would see throughout my bike for the most part. But yeah, I've tried to keep. I'm getting ready to add from the recommendation of you is add the OG Moto rear crash bar bag guards on the Street Glide. I'm going to add those on there. I really like the look of those, and I've never dropped that bike, but I've come real close, and it scares me into buying some crash bars, right? Because nobody wants to. And I've got stretch bags; that's what it came with. So,
yep.
But I'm really considering this winter is doing what you did and getting the whole shot rear fender and bags and putting it on the Street Glide.
Sure.
My challenge with that will be is that I've got speakers in there, so they don't cut them out for the amp or the other electronics for the automatic locking to lock the bags, because I've got the key fob with mine. So I'm going to have to figure that out, how I'm going to approach that. But I'd really like to have some shorter bags on it.
Sure. Yeah, and I, unlike you, I have dropped my bike more than once for various reasons, right?
Sure.
Sand in a parking lot, I think, was one time. I was doing a U-turn in the Black Hills, and a Suburban stopped right in front of me, just out of my sight line, and I was doing a U-turn. So when I turned, it was stopped in front of me, and I was doing the U-turn uphill.
Oh no!
So I was going uphill, and I was coming downhill, and it was stopped out of my sight line. And so as I'm deepest into the turn, and my head's all the way over, it stopped right there in front of me. And so as soon as I tapped on my brake, I just tipped straight over because I was on a hill. Yeah. So having those back, after I dropped it probably 3 times is when I got the crash bar, and then I replaced the bag lowers anyway. I had a couple scratches, but nothing really major. They were underneath the bottom of the bags, but I would say the second most common thing, I've stayed true to a few vendors. I have very few vendors on my bike because I have most of the stuff that I need from those vendors, right? So Original Garage Moto would be the second most common vendor on my bike. So I have their brake pedal. I have their footboards, both front and rear. So their front boards, their mini boards in the back, and the Original Garage Moto crash bar on the back, and shifter, little shifter pedal or whatever.
Yeah.
So that would be probably the second most popular vendor on my bike.
Yeah, they make some really good stuff. If you hop on Instagram, one of Forever Rad's newest builds, and it was more cosmetic build with some paint, is for his painter, Springle. They did a 24 Road Glide that he painted, and then they did everything's OG Moto on that thing, and it looks pretty great. Powder coated the a lot of bronze accents, and powder coated even the motor, and I think it looks slick.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good. So, and then I think I probably have. Let me see. I would say I have maybe 3 more. Of things that would be what I would consider to be brands that I legitimately like. So S&S, obviously, that's a big one. I have the whole entire S&S cam chest. So you can buy it in pieces. I have the whole chest. So I have the S&S oil pump, the tappet covers, the adjustable push rods, basically the whole thing. The oil pump, the cam plate, the cam. Basically, you take it off and it's all blue. It's all S&S blue on the inside of my cam.
Sure.
Or cam chest. So I have that, and then I also have an S&S Sidewinder in black lava chrome 2-into-1, and it's a full length exhaust pipe. So it's goes all the way down. I decided to do the full length rather than the shorty for two reasons. Number one, the shorty pipes are louder, and most of the shorty pipes are 3/4 length pipes, probably sound a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to sacrifice any power loss. So the S&S pipes kind of combined with the actual S&S components with a tune work well together. So,
Gotcha.
and I would say that the S&S pipe is the very first pipe I've ever put on a bike where I could say that it felt differently on my ass. Like I felt like I did actually gain with that pipe. So
Okay. Yeah, I would say second most probably Saddlemen for me. I've got their seat on the Street Glide. I have their mini FXRT fairing on the FXR.
Okay.
And there is no function to that thing really. It's so small. But for me, I just aesthetically I liked it better than the full size one with my bike at the time, and still do for that matter. To really get some deflection off that, the damn windshield would have to be so tall I think it'd look awful. But I love the look of it. I think it looks badass. It's something different, and I think people either love it or hate it.
Yep.
Whatever. It's my bike. I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Yep.
But and I would say like for me, like I'm a big fan of my Star 3030 cam.
Okay.
I love that thing, and I did Fueling Moto. The rest of it's Fueling Moto in there with the cam chest and all that, and super happy with that. They that thing, what a huge difference that made on that Milwaukee M8. So
Sure.
really love that. I think that's probably the big. Custom Dynamics. I'll tell you what. I will give a shout out. I only have like 2 of their products on each bike, or one on each bike. But the inside, I bought the lights for inside the saddlebag.
Oh.
And let me tell you, worth every penny. Because at nighttime, instead of having to find your damn phone and hold it, you just hit the button. It turns on. It's LED. You can see great in there, and then it's on a timer, so you can just shut the lid, and the light will turn off on its own, or you can hit the button again. That's been worth its weight in gold for me, especially
Nice.
Evening rides and when it gets dark and trying to find gloves or or clear goggles or whatever I'm trying to find in that saddlebag. So
Sure.
yeah. So you say you're done. So
Well, I have a couple more. I have a couple more things that I would throw out there. So
yeah.
and I'll just name them both because there's not a whole lot to tell. But I have Batubo performance suspension. So it's not very well known, but for those FXR guys out there, they know Batubo because Batubo is one of the only companies that makes chrome shocks for FXRs. So there's some of the guys out there that do the FXRs that are familiar with Batubo. But I have their kind of all-in-one kit for the front end. So just like Legends and Olin's, they're drop-in kits. And then the remote reservoir kit in the back is, I have that set up. So what I would say is I really do think the suspension made a monumental difference in my bike. Sure. But I will also say that I am probably not nearly as smart as I need to be on suspension. And so I would guess that my suspension could be better than it is if I had an expert that could help me dial it in. So
yeah.
If you guys know anybody out there that dials in Batubo suspension, send them my way because I'd love to have a conversation with somebody that knows how to dial in the Batubo suspension perfectly. So they set it up kind of for you before they send it to you, and you do have to adjust your sag when you put the back ones on. So
Sure.
you should have a partner to do that, to do it right. And I did that, so I got that all dialed in. But there's 3 separate ways that you can dial in just the rear suspension.
Okay. Wow.
So you can dial in the tension, you can dial in the sag, you can dial in the rebound, you can dial in So it's complicated. I'll say that. Right.
Yeah, that's more than your typical just turn what setting you want, right? On typical one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Olin's on the rear of the Street Glide, and that is a winter project. I've got factory forks on the front, so I replace those tubes and upgrade them. It's going to be about time anyway. But I'm looking forward to that. Not that I'm, going to be in the Bagger Racing League next year, but it's just time to upgrade that and a little more comfort. That does make a huge difference. And I made very much the rookie mistake of found a good deal on Olin's and threw them on there. Like, oh, cool, I can install this myself. And never, just got lazy and never took the time to really understand the settings until about a year later, and made a huge difference. Like actually taking the bag off, and if we were going to take a two up trip, then making the adjustment, or when I'm taking a solo trip and going to have some extra weight on the back with my bag. And it just made a huge difference. I had it so out of whack at one point. Like one side was super tense and one was super loose, and it was kind of embarrassing. I shouldn't admit it, but I did it, and I fixed it and pay a little more attention to that. And actually, what I noticed was a little bit of wear. My tires wore better that way, especially that rear one. And I can just tell a difference first, high speed turn, like, oh, and I really did have that fucked up. I was all over the place. So, what do you see? I know you talked about your FXR and wanting to keep it pretty stock, though. Do you see yourself using, taking, whether it's S&S or whatever, whoever that you've used on your Road King, and using whoever's parts on the FXR?
So I could see myself using Batubo shocks for the back because they're chrome. I can get some chrome ones. So certainly with that, I would probably do like springs in the front. So just so the front end looked still stock. So like some stiffer springs, progressive or something like that. Because they're going to need to be rebuilt anyway. I'm sure they're probably leaking. And I know for sure that I can push them all the way down. So they're
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They're terrible. So something like that, I could see myself putting an S&S air cleaner on there because I think the old teardrop style air cleaners look really dope on FXRs. So that I could see myself using for sure. One product that I do have on both bikes, so I have a Clearview shield on my ST fairing, and Clearview does make a shield that has that recurve on it, so it pushes the wind up a little bit higher. And Clearview actually does remanufacturing FXR shields. So I have one already ready to install on mine because I tried to clean the original one, and it's just so faded and discolored and everything that it just needs to go bye-bye.
Sure.
So I will be replacing that at some point. But like I said, I just have that in a box ready to install whenever I want to.
Gotcha.
And then I'm trying to think.
That recurve's no joke though. When I did I did a Clockworks on my Street Glide, and could tell a big difference. I did make a rookie mistake on that as well. I bought the windshield for replacing the seat, and so the seat ended up sitting me a little bit higher. It's not horrible, but I guarantee you that if I had done it the other way around, I'd have gone just a tad bit higher on the windshield, and that buffering would be just a little bit better.
It's interesting too because I think it depends on the size and weight of the person and the kind of the bike and that kind of stuff. Because a buddy of mine, Dave Percy, who rest in peace, sir. He actually tried a number of different recurve windshields on his Road Glide, and the Memphis Shade Shield ended up being the one that worked the best for him. He tried a Clockworks and tried various sizes of those. He tried Clearview, and ended up Memphis Shades was the one that just gave him the protection and the lack of buffering that he needed. So I do think that there are some things, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but sometimes there's not a one size fits all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
There are products out there that work differently for different people. So
yeah.
But yeah, I found Clearview was one of the companies that was making the ST shields, and the cool thing about Clearview is that if you look at an ST fairing, the ST fairing has like an opening right in the front. It's actually a vent, and that vent itself, that's the only functional purpose is that, and I believe that there is a functionality that it helps with the bubble, right?
Yeah.
But for me, for long trips, it was going to be a place where I was just going to get all this debris and bugs and road and rain and everything else was going to come right through that thing. So with Clearview, you can actually order a shield that covers that up. That the shield actually is all one piece and doesn't have that opening in it. And with the recurve on the top of the windshield, it actually still takes care of the buffeting. So I ended up that was the other thing that sold me is I could get a very dark shield without the recurve, or I'm sorry, without the opening.
Right.
So because sometimes some of the companies, once you get to the larger shields, they don't do them as dark because most people don't sit above them. You know what I mean? When you get
sure.
And so and I had to go with a little bit taller shield for it to do what I wanted it to do. But the one thing I noticed too is that when I had my Memphis Shades fairing on my bike and I had hard lowers, I had advanblack hard lowers on my bike for a while too, I got a lot of updraft. When I took those hard lowers off and just put the ST fairing on, I got almost as much wind protection on my lower legs because it has these little louvers at the bottom of the ST fairing that kick the wind down. But I have no more updraft, which is really kind of cool. So I don't get the wind blowing up. Now, I will say this. Those hard lowers, there's hardly anything that beats hard lowers if you get caught in a really bad rain.
Sure.
Because you just tuck your feet right up underneath there, and you hardly have to. I mean, if your feet get wet, it's because the rain is shedding down your rain suit and into your boots, but not because you're getting rain that's coming off of the road onto your legs.
Right, yeah.
So, there's, again, everything, there's a trade-off. There's an absolute trade-off for everything. And I will say with the amount of miles I put on outside of the rain, I was much more happy getting rid of the updraft than the protection from the rain with my feet. So,
yeah, I get it. I mean, even just how I position myself when that's one thing I get when I kick my feet up on the highway pegs. I get a little bit more of an updraft. That drives me crazy at times, especially if I'm just in a t-shirt. Nobody wants to see this belly, not even me.
Right.
So, but yeah, I get it. Everything is a trade-off. Let me ask you this. So did you run across times where ordered a seat, ordered a windshield, or any other product for that matter, and it just didn't work? And maybe you were stuck with it?
Yeah, so I'm one of those rare people, like I sat on a Saddleman. I haven't sat on a super comfortable Saddleman, to be honest with you. To me, and maybe it's because I know there's like a break-in period, but to me, they're hard and narrow. And so, and I think it's just part of like that getting used to it. So, I don't really know so much about that. I mean, I've been really lucky. I kind of do my research as much as I can. Like when I ordered my bars, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on like height and what if I ordered this bar, would I need to get new wiring? If I ordered this bar, what would happen? I did a lot of measuring. I sat down on my bike and I measured where my head was. I measured where my hands would be. So I had a very good idea of what positioning would look like when I got everything. So I was very happy with my bars. The first time I put them on, they were the right size. They were the right height. They were everything. Because I have Lucky Dave's. They're the Lucky 13s. So they're the 13-inch high with the inch and a half pullback, I believe, is what's built into that bar because it's all one piece. So it has a bend in it. But if you look at them, they're a lot narrower. And what you don't consider is that that changes where your mirrors are. So as soon as you put narrower bars on, your shoulders, unless you're a scrawny, tiny person, your shoulders actually get in the way of your mirrors.
Yep.
And so I spent a few seasons trying to figure out the whole mirror situation. I got smaller, low-profile mirrors. I tried to mount them underneath for a while. I finally, again, they're advanblack, but I finally have some mirrors that have the right angle of the bar on the mirror that pushes them out so I can see my shoulders. And they're really nice. They're coffin style, like that coffin style shape.
Yeah.
And I really like them. I really like them a lot. They have a carbon fiber inset in the back of them, and then they're just anodized black. But they're the first mirror that I've had in a really long time that wasn't the stock mirror. I had risers, so I bought risers for my stock mirror, and I ran those last year. The problem was they looked like these giant bug antennas that stuck up, and it took me a while to use them. I hated them for a long time, but again, with as many miles as I was putting on, I don't like to ride around without being able to see.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'm the same way.
So I had to have mirrors on there, so it took me a while, but I have these advanblack mirrors that I really, really like. They look really good. They're slick looking. They're low profile, and they have the the right angle so I can see. I also have advanblack handguards. A lot of people don't know advanblack makes handguards, and what I love about mine is that they make them in a couple of different ways. Obviously, you can get them color matched. Mine are color matched to my bike. And then they come with this insert, these rubber inserts that you can take out, so you can actually have vented handguards if you want. But they also make an insert that I bought that goes inside of there, which is a light.
Oh, okay.
So I ran them in a daisy chain to my front blinker lights. So I relocated my front blinker lights for smaller lights that advanblack also sells. So I have small, like bullet-style LED lights that are down on the bottom of my fairing, kind of on my fork. But then my handguards light up in sequence. So they're white running lights, and then they sequence orange when they blink. So again, it's really a form and function. I think it looks super dope, and they're very good for night riding and make you a lot more visible. Yeah,
that's a big deal. Going back to you talking about mirrors, I didn't think about that. On my FXR, the T-bars are very narrow. And I was thinking to myself, well, I never really see my shoulder, like it doesn't get in the way. But I was like, well, I got some big ass mirrors on my FXR. Mm-hmm. That's just what they came with. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna consider those advanblacks for the FXR, and hopefully they're the right angle, and I will give them a try. But yeah, I mean, I ran across that. In that I was like, I don't know what I don't know, and I did some research or whatever. But yeah, I went to the Harley dealership and I grabbed a seat for the weekend, demoed a seat, demoed a windshield as well, and that was a big deal for me. That helped, and I sat on a bunch of used bikes, used baggers, and different size bars and types of bars just to play around with it. I don't know. I guess like you, I mean, measuring it, looking at it, I'm a visual person, but I was like, well, I know the guys enough at the dealership. I can at least go down there and sit on some bikes and and try it. And I had a buddy out there holding this, holding the front wheel for me, so I could be like, all right, yeah, I think that works. So I did that, and again, the only mistake I think I made there was I got the windshield before the seat, and probably should have done that the other way around. So
right. I think that there are things that I found that I like better than other things. So a buddy of mine, he runs the Get a Grip grips from Harley.
Okay.
And they're a little wider in the middle, and he's got kind of big mitts, right? And he loves the way that they feel. And I actually ran them for a while. And then I don't know if you remember, Harley put out a product a few years ago. I think it was called the Dominion series. And I think so. Tony bought some and he didn't like them, and so he sent them to me and said, here, throw these on your bike if you like them. And I used those, and they were a lot narrower. And I have pretty like decent sized hands. However, I don't like to just clamp down on a grip. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I had those Dominion grips on for a long time. I took them off because I was kind of going with this theme, this honeycomb theme on my bike. So my footboards have a honeycomb pattern. My seat has honeycomb stitching in it. So I have this honeycomb pattern throughout. ODI actually made grips with the Vans honeycomb tread, just like the bottom of Vans shoes. So Vans shoes have had a honeycomb tread in them for a long time. ODI made grips like that, and so I got those that are gray. And when they wear out, I'm going to get the ODI Vans ones that are black because I like the gray ones, but I would just go back to getting black ones. But
did you get any discolor on those gray ones?
They're narrow. Time? You know what? I did with my red gloves, but what's really interesting is that when I started wearing my black gloves again, it wore out. Not the red gloves. I bought some ropers a couple of years ago. That Odin makes some ropers that are kind of a reddish brown color, and some of that reddish kind of leather tanning kind of came off on the grips, but that wore off, and they're fine. They don't look bad at all. So, but yeah, I prefer a thinner grip, and so I've gone through a few different hand grips. I would say that. Just trying some that have had different features on them. I never tried heated grips. I know a lot of people like the heated grips. They would be super popular up here, but I just don't like the way they look. So I'm kind of like, I have heated gloves, I don't need heated grips kind of situation.
Sure.
But they do, from my understanding, they really do make a huge difference. But
they do. I can attest. I have mine factory ones on the Street Glide. I love them. I would say my only gripe on those, and what I learned from my heritage, the grips on that were, they're chrome with the rubber like teeth almost on there.
Yep.
And what that allowed was, in the summertime, airflow through there. So my hands didn't sweat as bad.
Okay.
And on the Street Glide and the FXR, they're not like that. They're more of a smoother finish. I think the FXR's got similar to like the Vans one, but super flat, right? There's not a lot of rigidity, as rigid as like the Heritage. So, man, my hands get super sweaty when it's hot outside. So that would be the only thing I changed on those.
Right. Well, and I think, again, form and function. I've run handguards on my bikes for so long. I had Memphis Shades handguards on, the previous kind of iteration. There, even you can see it in the picture that's behind me. I had Memphis Shades handguards, and now I have these other ones. I run handguards all the time, and it's because of the cold weather that we ride in here. That does actually, those handguards provide you with a lot of wind protection to keep your hands a lot warmer. And then just the idea of I don't get hit with road debris, I don't get hit with bugs, I don't get hit with rocks or anything, right? So they do make a very significant difference in that. You don't realize how much exposure your hands get until you have handguards on there and you see all the shit that's on the front of the handguards that would have hit your hands. So
or just the fingers of your gloves, right? I mean, it's crazy. And same thing with lowers, right? Like, it's not just rain. If anyone follows a guy named the Bogey Biker on YouTube, a damn chunk of a rock hit his shin.
Yep.
And busted open. I don't think he got stitches, but he walked with a limp. That's how bad it hurt. And he ordered advanblack lowers, color matched, for his Road Glide. He's like, I never wanted these, but man, he goes, I don't want to ever experience that pain again, and can't blame him, right? Form over function, as you said.
Yep. Two seasons ago, I was riding home with a friend of mine, Nick, and we were in South Dakota. We were passing a semi, and I don't know if you've ever seen a tire on a semi-trailer explode before.
I have, and that's a fear of mine every time I pass an 18-wheeler.
I can be honest with you, I've never seen one. I've seen them shred. I've seen them peel a layer off. I'd never seen one explode. and it was 50 yards in front of us when the tire exploded. It was one of the back tires on this side. We were in the passing lane, and that shrapnel was bouncing all over the road. I got hit in the shin with a piece of rubber tire, and it was probably no bigger than a golf ball. I'm glad it was rubber. I can tell you that. It hurt like a motherfucker, and I had a huge bruise, but it didn't break the skin or anything. But if that had been a rock, dude, I don't know. That might have busted my shin because it was like it hit me, and I was swerving to like miss larger pieces of shrapnel, and just got hit with one of these smaller ones. But I had never experienced it. I'd never seen a tire explode before. I tell you what, until you actually see it, and I saw it from 50 yards away, it scares the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, that's a butt pucker level 10 if there ever is one.
Right? I mean, it just I mean, just like I said, there was no tire to like come off that thing. It was a blank rim. It exploded.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, that stuff's wild.
Yeah.
Well, I think
so what you were asking before, and I would pose the question back to you. Is there a brand or a product that you've had to rebuy because you fucked up on your first purchase?
I mean, I probably at some point I'm going to get another windshield for sure. I'm definitely going to do that. I have screwed up. Let's see. You know, I guess not. I don't think I've had a rebuy. No, I have not. I've come real close. Like bought something, went to install it, some lights on my Heritage, and I was like, oh, this looks terrible. And luckily, I had just taken the light out, not the wiring and the harness, and I was like, oh, this looks terrible. Like I just didn't do enough research. I rushed through it, impulse buy, and so I was able to send those back. But I've been lucky. You know, again, did some research. My research looked a little different than yours. I went to the dealership. Luckily, a dealership that could demo things. I know that's not an option for everybody, but fortunately, the dealership I deal with, they've got windshields and seats and things that I could demo, and I put the time and effort into that, and that helped a whole lot for sure.
Yeah, I think seats are what I've heard the most common. Right, if you can find a place, you should demo a seat because they're huge. That's a huge expense if you buy the wrong seat. I've been lucky enough that I was able to recycle, and what I mean by recycle is that a buddy of mine bought a Road King just a couple of years older than mine, but not too old that they didn't change everything. So like he's now running my Tab Performance pipes because he still has two into two pipes. So he's running the slip-ons that I had there. I gave them to him. I had a Memphis Shades fairing and windshield that he's running on his bike now. You can see that, I guess, if you watch this on video and the picture that's behind me, there's a backrest on my seat there. So I had purchased a Harley backrest, or my bike came with it, I think, a Harley backrest in the tour pack or the rack. Or I bought it. I think I bought it. But anyway, he's using that in his format. I had a Rick Rack bag. I sold him that too, because that connects right to that the certain size rack that you can use as like a tour pack. But then you take it off. You don't have it on the rest of the time. It's a really nice feature if you want this kind of built-in portability where you can take it apart and kind of put it back together, and so you have a bike without it all on there, and then you have it on there with. I ran a seat without a backrest for a long time, and I use a backrest now. I don't know, being tall and having a long torso, I don't have the greatest back in the world, and so having that extra back support is just something that I just feel a lot more locked in, and it's just way more comfortable for me.
Your backrest is sponsored by AARP, is that right? Now that
you're
50? Okay.
Absolutely sponsored by AARP for sure.
Just want to clarify that.
Yep. I would say that what I've purchased the most of has been grips, hand grips, finding the right hand grips that worked for me. Okay. And it's not that I never bought them, put them on, and was like, oh, these aren't going to work. I bought them, put them on, and used them. Like I used those Geta grips for a while. I didn't hate those. I used those Dominion ones for a while, really liked them, and now I use ODI, and I think I would get ODI again. They're really what work for me. I think the best. But everything else, like kind of like you, I did my research and I really put in the time to.
Oh, I know what I didn't research.
Mine's been gear. More times I've purchased more gear that didn't work out.
Phone mount.
Oh shit.
I've
Okay.
been through three of those bastards. Or yeah, I've been through three and getting ready to add a fourth.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's unpack that, because I've had two,
Mm-hmm.
and I only got rid of my first one because I had upgraded my phone and they didn't have a dampener on it. But so tell me about your journey, because you're like in the
Yeah.
4. Okay.
Yeah, so I had was it RAM mount or whatever, and where you
Yeah.
just squeeze them together.
Yeah. Lots of people lost their phones on that thing.
So I damn near did.
Okay.
I ordered the wrong size, not paying enough attention. So and I waited too long to mount it. It's too late to return it. So the hell with this. I'm cheap. I'll make it work. And so my phone the way my iPhone would fit in there, it would hit the volume button, volume button. So, blast my damn ears out. So, so it's set up higher, so I couldn't use the rubber mount that you wrap around it, just the legs. And God, I hated it. It was just awful. It would get loose. It just wasn't, or it made me nervous. After a couple times to get loose. So I went with some cheap Amazon ones. Like, let's just try this. That lasted about a month. I was like, oh, this is awful. So I was gifted one, and I don't remember the brand. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it had the you wired it into your battery, so it had the no cord charge. As long as just as long as it was touching it. That lasted about one season, and it stopped charging. So so now I've ordered a Peak Performance, and realized that my bars are too thick for the clamp. So, or no, I'm sorry, not my bars. I ordered the one that hooks to your mirrors. So I changed out my mirrors to a different Harley mirror, and those are too thick for the mirror mount. So cool. I'll just put this on my FXR, put it on there, and the cord's too short to get to the battery.
Okay.
So I've got to figure out. I haven't had a chance to get with Peak Performance, see if they sell just a longer cord, but it's a proprietary cord plug that goes into the actual phone mount itself.
Of course it is.
And you have to use one of their phone cases. But the ease of getting your phone off and on, and how secure it is, man. And if you get it just close to it, because it's just a little square cutout in the back of your phone mount. I mean, you get in there, it just grabs it real quick with the it's magnetic as well. Oh man, I mean, I love it. I just got to get a longer cord. So,
Sure.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, let me know, because I've been really interested. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about the Peak Performance mounts. And I started with a rock form, and I really liked it. It had that rare earth magnet in it. So it was a really strong. The case was robust. It never came out, whatever. But then when iPhone started upgrading, and I ended up upgrading my phone a couple times, and the phones had gimbals in them, and the rock form mount was known to not have any shock absorbers in it, and would ruin your camera on your phone.
Really?
Yeah. So it would vibrate so much that the gimbal would get screwed up in your camera.
Interesting. Wow.
So it happened to a buddy of mine. In fact, he had a rock form mount, and on our way down to one of our events, his phone camera stopped working. So he didn't get any pictures of that event because the rock form mount destroyed his phone camera.
How terrible is that?
Yeah. So I moved away from the rock form mount, and the rock form is a solid piece of equipment. I mean, it's milled. It is, it is really nice. It is a really nice. You can get a perch mount. You can get a bar mount. There's a clamp. You can get all kinds. It's really nice. And they do have a setup now with a, I don't know what you'd call it, the thing that helps the anti-vibration mount. Okay?
Oh, sure. Dampening.
Yeah. So when I moved away from that, I ended up going to Quad Lock. and I have the full quad lock system. And just like you said, just like Peak Performance, you have to buy the mount, you have to buy you have to buy everything, right?
Yep. Phone case, all that.
Phone case, all that. Yep. My only thing is I would like to be able to have something that's easier to take off so I can take pictures.
Yep.
Right? Now I'm not I'm not condoning or saying that taking pictures while you're riding your motorcycle is something that anybody should be doing. But
hey, if you're pulling over the side of the road for a quick photo op, you want to make it quick, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And so and I have one of those that came on the FXR, and I'm not a huge fan of it either, so I can appreciate where you're coming from.
Yep. So I did my research too, so a lot of people didn't know, because Quad Lock, when they first came out, the little like lever thing was blue, and everybody got so pissed off because when you took your phone off, you had this blue mount you could see from 10 miles away if it didn't match your bike. Well, I did my research, and Quad Lock actually at one point in time they started, you could buy that lever separately and you could get different colors. So you could get black and red and whatever. And so I ended up getting one that matches my bike so it doesn't stand out. It's pretty incognito. I've got Lucky Dave Lucky 13 bars, and I have it right in the middle of my bar. I turn it sideways so it looks like an LCD or looks like a screen on my bars that I can use when I run GPS, whatever. I ran my own external power source right up on my bars, and so that's all kind of tucked away, super clean, so I don't have any wild cords all over the place and whatever. And I'm super happy with that setup, except it's just not as easy to snap on and snap off. Now, I found it to be super secure. So I'm very happy with that. Like, I've never had a problem with anything coming off. Like, I've never worried about that thing bouncing off at all. But is it the best mount as far as being able to of ease of use? Not so much.
Yeah, I agree. It's clunky how it operates, and I mean, I've even tried practicing. Like, maybe I'm not doing this enough, but. So either I'm still not doing enough, or I'm not that smart, or it's just clunky. And I'm glad to hear that you feel the same way. So
yeah, and it's just like I said, it's just one of those things where it's just not as smooth as I would like it to be. And so in that case, I'm more aligned with the looking at probably changing that out. Plus, I've really had it for a long time. And I do know that there are other case options out there. I think the Peak Designs cases are even more streamlined. And not that the Quad Lock case is actually very small, considering like how robust the case is for the rock form. The Quad Lock's even smaller. And I think the Peak Design is even smaller than that.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Yes.
And they do like bundle packages. I don't know if you looked at them, so you can get the case and the mount together at a little bit of a discounted price.
Yeah, so I would agree. I'm probably gonna to look into that, but that'd be the only thing that I think that other than grips that I've put on and changed out. I mean, obviously, everything else that I've done has been because I've changed the aesthetic of the bike, not because I made a mistake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but that's also, I have usually gone with a product that I've liked, or I've done my research, saved my pennies. I haven't ordered Amazon special really stuff that has broken on me or just been cheap. Yeah. So that's kind of where I've been kind of with everything.
Sure.
So,
yeah. It's, well, let us know in the comments, what do you use? What do you have a go-to brand or your favorite, what you've used the most? And certainly, I feel like there's people that, what I've noticed, are very passionate about their phone mounts. So let us know what you use and what you like. And I don't care what you hate. Just tell me what you use and why you like it. We can start. Might have to start a whole channel on that if it gets too heated. But
yeah, what's your go-to aftermarket? You know what I mean? Are you a Saddleman guy? Are you a Mustang guy? Or are you what? There's a ton of different brands out there.
And I feel like I'm seeing more LaPeras out there.
Yeah, LaPera's getting
in the
popular.
last couple of years.
Who does? There is a brand that partners with Saddlemen that has their own seat that has that little backrest built into it.
Oh, I don't know. That was Saddleman.
Yeah, they partner because the seat's not the same, and it's not a Lucky Dave's seat because Lucky Dave's has their own version of the Saddleman that they've Lucky Dave's partner with Saddleman, and he's got his own version too. Is it San Diego Customs? Do they have their own?
It might be SDC.
It's SDC. Yep,
okay.
SDC. They have their own seat that Saddleman manufactures.
So
for them.
Lucky Dave's is a Saddleman seat. They don't make their own seats.
Pretty sure it's a Saddleman seat that Lucky Dave's, and they're different, right? The SDC seat, the Lucky Dave seat, and the Saddleman seats, they're different. They've added some things to it that have made them their own. I just
seats. Didn't realize the collaboration there. I have a Lucky Dave seat that came on the FXR. I just didn't realize that Saddleman actually made it. It's just the collab with. I mean, everyone does. I think Cruisey Originals. Everyone's got a a collab with someone in Saddleman. So.
And Saddleman does custom stitching, so I think like Blockhead Moto had his own version of a Saddleman seat where he had his logo and stuff on it for a while too. So, and you can do that on your own if you reach out to some of these vendors are doing that. I know. I think it was the other one out there that does a lot of really good custom seats is Corbin.
Oh yeah, Corbin. Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, Corbin does. And for every person that I've heard to ever do like a custom seat where you call them, you give them all the specs and everything they do, and they do a custom seat, every person I've ever known that has done a custom seat like that has always been happy with it, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to pay, $1,700 for a custom seat, but you may never have to get a seat again.
You better love it for $1,700, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, well, and like, so the one thing that my friend noticed, he bought a road sofa too, and it comes with that. It comes with the rain sock for your seat, right? Mm-hmm. And then we both realized that you can actually put that rain sock on your seat if you're riding in the rain, because the other thing you notice too is the seat's perforated and it actually gathers water.
Yeah.
So. Yep. If you're going to wash your bike or if you're going to ride in the rain, you should probably put that on there because it will soak up the water and it'll take a couple days to dry. So you put it on there. And then you
won't have a wild ass, you'll have a wet ass.
Yeah. You can put that seat cover on there, though, and you can sit on it and ride with it on, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yep. I've got one of
And
those.
they make it so it fits the backrest, too.
Yeah. Yep. Sure does. I've seen that. Well, there we go, folks. Let us know what you're using, what you love. What's your go-to? This episode, what is this, 13?
13.
Man,
13.
Lucky 13. Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, thanks to our new Patreon members. If you're interested in Patreon, $5 or $10 a month can support us and help us keep doing what we're doing here. Costs you absolutely not a damn thing to tell your friends and family about this podcast, repost something from social media. We're on Discord. We're on all the socials. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, 5-star rating, big thumbs up. We would certainly appreciate it.
Buy your winter merch. Buy your spring merch.
That's right. Get your toboggan, beanie, ski cap, whatever the hell you call it. And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week.
We out. Ride safe.